Hello viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagwani from Aryabhat College, University of Delhi. So in this series of Introduction to Programming in C++, today's focus will be on the last statement of the control flow, which are looping statements, and specifically within the looping statements we are going with the statement for. So let us begin the lecture. Programming languages, when we say we have various control structure that allow for more complicated execution paths. In the sense, when we started with control flow, I have told you that there will be many, but we will be studying three structures for controlling the flow of program, which were sequence, selection and iteration. So sequence is just execution of one statement after the another, but if we talk about selection, or if we talk about iteration, which is the looping thing, these are the control structures that allow for more complicated execution paths. So if you can remember if a statement, so a condition is being checked, so if it is true, then the true block will be executed. If it is false, then the else block will be executed. So here we are having a complicated or a kind of more we can say staggered execution path as compared to the sequence structure. Similarly, the third structure, which is of we can say iterative structures, iteration or looping thing. A loop statements basically allows to execute the body of the loop, whether it is one statement or a group of statement multiple times. So if we want to repeat the execution of a particular block of statements n number of times, or depending upon how many times, we will be using loop statement for that. And within that block there can be one single statement, or there can be group of statements too. So loops are used in order to repeat the execution of a specific block of code till a given condition is satisfied. For example, let's take an example, and we need to see, we need to print, let's say from numbers, we need to print numbers from 1 to 100. So instead of writing this code manually to print numbers from 1 to 100, let's say print 1, print 2, cout 1, cout 2 and so on and so forth, it's a better idea to use, or it's a better idea to take help of a loop for performing this particular task, because this task is being repeated 100 times, or maybe let's say n number of times. So instead of I can say manually writing the code with 100 separate print statements, it's a better idea to define a loop statement and let the compiler doing the job for us, that is according to let the kind of we can say executor do the job of us for manually incrementing the value after each iteration and printing the value, and this for the code for writing or printing from 1 to 100 can be finished within just 3-4 lines. So this is the validity of loops. So the bottom line here is, if you want to repeat some statement or a block, we can say n number of times, now that n could be 10, that n could be 30 or anything else, we are going to use loops thing in case of iteration or in case of repetition. Now coming to what are the essential parts of loop. So whenever we are going to write a looping statement, it must have one initialization, one statement of initialization, one test condition and one update statement. So initialization says that, for example, here in each and every loop we will be having a loop variable, and that loop variable is used to control the number of times the loop is actually working. So that loop variable, or initializing the value to the loop variable, is the first part of the loop, which is initialization. then that loop variable is being tested against a particular value, whether it is equals to, less than or greater than that value. Then checking, this type of checking comes under the test condition, and finally the update statement. So update statement actually is kind of updating the value of that particular variable. So here we have one loop variable which is going to control the loop. We will initialize the value of that loop variable, that is initialization. Then we will check the value of the loop variable, because we want to actually control how many times the loop is going to be executed. So that test condition we need to put for number of times, and that test condition is also dependent on that loop variable. And then we also need to update the value of the loop variable so as to avoid the loop to stuck in an infinite situation, unending situation. Now how it is happening, we will see. Now if you can see on the screen, let's say we start the program, and after starting the program we need to initialize and after initialization we will be putting a test condition. So test condition, if the test condition is true, then some statement written inside the body of the body of the loop will take place. Then there is an updation of the variable, and now as the variable has been updated, it will go again and check the condition, that whether the condition is still satisfied after updating the value of the loop variable. Now in case the condition is still satisfied, true, then the body of the loop will be executed again, variable will be updated again, and again it will be tested. Now the moment where the condition is resulting in false, please notice the control in case of false, it is coming directly towards an end. In case of true, it is coming through the body of the loop, then updation, and it is going again to the test condition. So here this is what you call, or this is the way through which we are going to we can say execute a loop. So this is kind of a flow chart for any simple looping statement in C++. So start, then initialization, test condition, body of the loop, then update expression, and then again checking, and this loop will keep on repeating till we are going to get answer of the conditional expression is true. The moment the conditional expression is coming to a false result, it will go out of the loop. So that is what the situation, or that is what the flow control in case of a loop is. Now coming to, based on these parts of loop, so we can say there are two types of loops. One is entry control loop and another one is exit control loop. So in entry control loops, we need to check the test condition before entering into the loop body. As we have seen in the flow structure, we first tested the condition, and if the condition is true, then we are going to enter inside the body of the loop and execute the statements, and then update statement, and so on and so forth. So where the condition has been tested, the condition has been tested before entering into the loop body, or we can say at the entry. So this is what you called entry control loop. And in C++ there are two entry control loops, which are for loop and while loop. Now coming to the second type of the loop, which is exit control loop. So in exit control loop, as the name indicates, the test condition is tested or evaluated at the end of the body. Now there is the body of the loop that will be executed, and then the test condition will be tested. If the test condition is found true, body of the loop will be executed again. If the test condition is found false, it will go to the next statement. So this essentially means that the loop body will be executed at least one, irrespective of whatever the test condition, whatever test condition is resulting into, whether it is resulting into true or whether it is resulting into the false, at least one the loop of body of the loop will be executed positively, because the condition is being tested at the exit. At the exit, that means once the body of the loop is being, once the control is into the body of the loop, this is executed, and then at the exit, at the point of the exit from the loop, condition is being tested. So here in C++ we have one exit control loop, which is more commonly known as do while loop, which I will be sharing the details of which I will be sharing you in some other lecture. Now coming to, as I have told you, two entry control loops, for loop and while, and one exit control loop, which is do while. So basically these are the three looping statements available in C++. Now let us start with our first looping statement, which is for loop. Now one may ask that what is the difference between apart from two being entry controlled and one being exit controlled, what is actually the difference between this for and while and do while too. So the syntax of these three loops, which are for, while and do while, mainly differs on the placement of the parts of the loop, like initialization, test condition and update expression. So where the initialization is going to be placed, where the test condition is going to be placed, and where the update expression is going to be placed, these are the conditions, or these are the scenarios which are going to make these for, while and do while different from one another. So for and while we will be considering. Coming to do while, as I have told you that it is an exit control loop. So exit control loop, as we have discussed, that means the testing condition is actually at the point of exit, which is at the bottom of the body of the loop. So body of the loop is above the testing condition, while in case of for and while, the testing condition is placed above the body of the loop. So it is basically the placement of initialization, test condition and update expression, which is going to give you a different kind of an usage, different kind of application and different kind of flavor for these three loops, which are for, while and do while. Now let us try to explore our for loop within kind of detail, we can say. So coming to initialization expression, as we have seen that we need to initialize the loop variable, or more specifically known as counter, to some value. For example, our counter variable or our loop variable is I, and we are initializing it to 1 by a simple statement which says int I is equals to 1. Then some test expression will be there. In the test expression, we will need to test a conditional situation. If the condition evaluates to true, then we will execute the body of the loop given under this and go to the update expression. Otherwise, we will exit from the loop. For example, here let us say the task is to print first 10 natural numbers. So first 10 natural numbers essentially goes from 1 to 10. So we have started inside the initialization expression, we have said int I is equals to 1. Now coming to test expression, we will say I less than equals to 10. So this is my test condition till the point where I is less than equals to 10. Execute the body of the loop which is written under this test expression. So the test expression is a conditional expression which is going to check whether I is less than equals to 10, yes or no. And the point till the point we are going to get true for this I less than equals to 10, we will execute the body of the loop, update the expression. Again after update, again it will check condition satisfied, yes, execute the body, update the expression. We will see with the help of an example. Finally is update expression. So update expression says we need to change the value of I. For example, in initialization we have fixed the value of I as 1. Now what will happen if I stuck to 1 only? No kind of we can say progress, and a loop will be in kind of stuck. So we will say once the value of I is printed, that means 1 is printed, then now the next task is to print 2. So in that situation we need to update the expression I is equals to I plus 1, and the shortened expression for this, as we have already discussed this in our previous lectures, is I plus plus. So we have int I is equals to 1 as initialization expression, I less than equals to 10 as the test condition, and I plus plus as the update expression. Now let us see how are we going to use these three expressions along with the body of the loop to have a complete for loop statement. So the syntax of the for says, as I have told you, that it is the placement of initialization, test expression and update expression which is going to create the difference between for and while. So yes, we have to be very careful with syntax. So here for, then within a small normal brackets it is initialization expression, then followed by a semicolon, test expression will be there, again a semicolon, then the update expression, then that bracket close, and now with the curly bracket statement which is kind of signifying the presence of a block here in C++, we will be writing body of the loop within the curly bracket, and then whatever statements we want to execute will come inside the body of the loop. Let's see with an example. So I am taking the same example, that the task is to print maybe let's say 10 numbers, or let's say print hello world 10 times. So that's the task, it is to print the string hello world 10 times. So what we did here is within our main we have integer I is equals to 1, that is an initialization expression, then I less than is equals to 10 is the test condition, and I plus plus is the update expression. Please notice the use of semicolon between initialization, test condition and update expression. So in for, all the three statements are written after the keyword for within a bracket generally, or we can use I plus plus in the body of the loop also, that is also okay, but in a generally speaking they are written in one kind of one tuple or one record, followed by each and every statement followed by semicolon, and then we have written cout hello world. So now let's see what is happening here. Let us try to take a dry run here. Within a main, I has been initialized as 1, and please remember initialization expression is going to take place only once. So once initialization has been taken place, I has been given the value as 1. Now before entering into the the block which is body of the loop given by middle bracket, curly brackets here. So condition will be checked whether I is less than equals to 10. So 1 less than 10, condition is satisfied. Then hello world is printed, and after printing hello world, I is equals to I plus 1 or I plus plus, which is the update expression, is going to take place. Now the earlier value of I was 1. Now here the next value of I after updating I plus plus is 2. So I is equals to 2. Now before going into the body of the loop which is printing hello world, I is again tested in the conditional expression which is I less than equals to 10. Now the value of I is 2. 2 less than equals to 10, yes, satisfied. hello world will be printed second time. Now the update expression takes place and the value of I will be 3. Again test condition, 3 less than equals to 10, satisfied. Hello world will be printed. Again I will be incremented, I is equals to 4, 4 less than equals to 10, hello world will be printed. And similarly, let's say what happens, 8 times your hello world is being printed. Now after updation the value of I is 9. So 9 less than 10, satisfied. So again 9th time the hello world is being printed, and now the value of I is being updated to 10. Now if you have seen carefully within the test expression, the test expression says I less than equals to 10. So 10 is not less than 10, but 10 is yes equals to 10. So that means condition is once again satisfied. So once again satisfied, that means hello world will be printed once again, and now the value of I will be updated to 11. And now the test condition will be checked again, looking for 11 less than equals to 10, and now my test condition is false. So that means my program will come to an end by executing the statement return 0. So 10 times it will print hello world, 11th time it will update the expression, but even after updating the expression, the conditional expression is not giving you the value of true. So that means it is evaluating to false, and hence the body of the loop will not be executed. So this is, we can say a simple execution of a for loop. Yes, there are many complicated usages of for loops, or we can have nested for loops that we will be covering in our further upcoming lectures. Now being very specific with for loops, for loop is traditionally used for one more purpose, which is infinite loops. And what actually this infinite loop is? An infinite loop is a loop which a loop when becomes infinite if the condition is never becoming false. If you have kind of written unintentionally a condition which is not becoming false at any time, for example, we can have many examples of this unintentional infinite loops too. So for or we can have situations also where we need to draft an infinite loop, or where we need to have an infinite loop. So for loop is used traditionally for the purpose of infinite loop, for the purpose of creation of infinite loop. It's not like that we cannot create an infinite loop using while. Yes, we can do, but generally speaking for can also be used. So when we want this for to become an infinite loop, none of the three expressions are required, neither initialization nor update expression nor the condition, and you can make an endless loop by leaving the conditional expressions empty to all the expression empty. So here we have one infinite loop which is written on the program, written in the program snippet shown on the screen. That is, within the main we have written for no initialization, one blank space followed by a semicolon, then one blank space in place of conditional expression followed by a semicolon, and then a blank space in case of the update expression also. So this loop is going to run forever. So in situation, if the loop is going to run forever, how are we going to come out of the loop? You need to press the keys Control C if you want to break the execution of an infinite loop. So with for, if you want to create an infinite loop, you can use for within the bracket 2 semicolons, that's an infinite loop. That's we can say is an kind of intentional infinite loop. But if coming to unintentional infinite loop, for example, if you have, let's say kind of value, let's say I is equals to 1 and 1 is less than 10, you have checked and you are not going to update it. For example, you forget to write the update expression, then what will happen? The value of I will always be 1 and 1 is always less than 10. Then also in this type of situation you will have an infinite loop. So yes, you can create it deliberately if required for your programming application. So you can do that, or simply by not intentionally, but you can have infinite loops too in your program. So in order to terminate the infinite loop, you need to press Control C keys. So in this lecture we have seen what actually looping statements in C++ are, what are they used for, what are the types, and what are the we can say main parts of that loop. And we have taken a close look for we have taken a close look to the looping statement for in C++, including its usage as infinite loop too. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.